What we've got here is failure, 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 failure.
Kids, be free. Be whatever you are, do whatever you want to do. Just so long as you don't hurt anybody.
Fuck this shit!
If you have received a call from us asking you to make contact, please hold the line, and your call will be answered as soon as possible. Please note, your call may be recorded for quality and training purposes.
A few inches later.
Hello?
Hello, I had a phone call just a while ago about COVID vaccinations. I've got a few inquiries. I'd like to talk to a supervisor there, please.
Okay, yeah, no worries. Give me just 2 seconds. I'll just put you on hold and I'll try and figure out the number of the supervisor, okay?
Thank you.
Day 2, Day 3, Day 4.
Hello?
Hello?
Hi, sorry about that.
It's okay.
So my supervisor is she's just on a call at the moment. She said that she can take your email and email over to you, or you can email over to her and just let her know what your concerns are. Is there anything I can try and help you with
No,
now?
I'd much rather talk to her in person because I'm recording this phone call for my own safety and benefit. I've got some concerns about why you've just phoned me asking for my private medical information. Are you and are the council, do you have to adhere to the Articles of Human Rights?
Yes.
You do? Okay, so are you aware...
What I can do is...
No, I'm asking you a question, okay? Because you are, and you personally as well, my love, don't know your name. What is your name?
My name's Ellie.
Right, Ellie, I don't know if you know this, love, but when you phoned me a little while ago and you asked me about my private medical information, you are actually breaking Article 8 of the Human Rights Act 1998. Private medical information is protected by Article 8 of the Human Rights Act 1998. That means neither you nor anybody that you work for are allowed to know my private and personal medical information.
Okay, so I will pass
Are you
on
not
to my
aware of
manager
this?
so that you can...
Are you not aware of this?
So we don't actually have any of your medical information.
No, but you're asking me about my private medical information. Recently, a Freedom of Information request was asked in regards to members of Parliament who are supposed to be our employees, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so we employ members of Parliament. We are not allowed to know the private medical information regarding COVID vaccinations of MPs, because that is protected under Article 8 of the Human Rights Act 1998. Excuse me. So therefore, if we are not allowed to know the vaccination status of members of Parliament, people who we employ, then what gives you or the council the right to know our private medical information?
All I can do is apologise.
Right, well, I
I
suggest...
can pass your information on to...
What I suggest you do, love, is tell your supervisor that she needs to speak to me. I'm not waiting for an email because I'm not happy.
No, that's absolutely fine, but can I pass your mobile number on to her?
No, I'm going to wait because I'm calling this phone call. Also, I'd like to point out that on your website it states, we do not have access to your medical records and will not be discussing any medical issues, but we can arrange for you to be called by a dedicated GP if you have any concerns. So if your supervisors are making you phone people, asking them if they've had a vaccination, and then they say, oh no, we don't want to, and then you try and coerce them by having a dedicated GP phone them up, who's taking responsibility for anything bad that happens after taking the vaccination? Is it yourself? Is it your supervisor? Is it the council? Who's taking responsibility for any negative reactions that people have to a vaccine? Because somebody has to take personal liability. And it's not the vaccination companies. So if this is your job and you're supposed to be phoning people up, coercing them to have a vaccination against their will, then somebody needs to take responsibility for that. So who's it going to be? Is it going to be yourself or is it going to be your supervisors?
I do apologise if you feel that way. I was not intending to make anyone feel that they should or shouldn't be getting the vaccine.
That's what you're doing, though. That is exactly what you are doing. Can I ask you, have you had the vaccination? Are you sexually active?
No.
Do you use condoms? Or is that personal information that I'm not allowed to know? Do you feel comfortable me asking you if you're sexually active? Do you practice safe sex? Do you use condoms? Do you use contraceptive pills? Or is this none of my information? Do I not need to know this? And also, why are you phoning up people asking if they've had a vaccination if you yourself have not had one? Don't you think that's a little bit hypocritical?
I'm only offering to help certain people that are unable to book
So you're offering.
Check everyone.
Like, why have you not had your vaccination? Is that a personal choice? Or again, is this stuff that I'm not allowed to know? Because I'm not entitled to know it. What you are doing, you're phoning people up, you're scaring them. You may not think you are, but you are. You're scaring people into having a vaccination you know absolutely nothing about, because clearly you've not had one yourself, you've admitted you've not had one. But yet you're phoning people up, asking them if they've had one, to put them in touch with a dedicated GP, who, by the way, gets paid about £12 per vaccination that they give out in their surgery to their patients. So GPs have got a financial incentive here. She hung up. Let's phone back.
The call from us asking you to make contact. Please hold the line, and your call will be answered as soon as possible. Please note, your call may be recorded for quality and training purposes.
Welcome Central Bedfordshire Council, how can I help?
Hello, I'd like to speak to a supervisor, please, because you just hung up on me.
I do apologise that happened. Do you know who you were talking to?
Emily, I believe her name was.
Beverly?
Beverly or Emily, something like that, sorry.
That's okay. Do you know what department she was from?
It was about COVID vaccinations.
COVID vaccines, okay. Can I take your name?
No, you can't.
I can't, okay. And you want to speak to a supervisor because they hung up?
Well, basically, I received a phone call from them asking if I've had the COVID vaccination. I told them to go away. I phoned back a few minutes later on, and I spoke to the young lady who answered the call, and I basically told her that she's got no right to ask my personal medical information because it's protected under Article 8 of the Human Rights Act 1998, and she was unaware of this.
Okay.
She then proceeded to tell me that she herself is not vaccinated, so I told her she's been a hypocrite. phoning people up and scaring them into having a vaccine that she knows nothing about.
Okay, I do apologise.
And I also wanted to know who at the council is taking personal liability should something go wrong with these vaccines. Because the people who are making the vaccinations, they are not liable should anything bad happen. So if the council is going around phoning people, then somebody there must be willing to take responsibility that should something bad happen when vaccines are given to people.
Okay, let me get you through to somebody who you can talk to, okay?
Thank you very much, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
One eternity later.
Oh, hello, can you hear me?
Hello, yes I can now.
Oh, hello, sorry about that. It's still Hillary here, the original person who took the call. So I'm not actually able to pass you through without taking your name. We need some detail to be able to get the issue raised.
The issue is that Bedfordshire Council are in breach of Article 8 of the Human Rights Act 1998. That's what the issue is.
Okay. So that we can get somebody to contact you, they'd need to take a name for you.
Call me sir. There you go.
I'm afraid that's not okay to do that, I'm afraid.
My name's Mr. Numbers.
Mr. Numbers?
Yes.
And you're from Central Bedfordshire?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and the telephone number you're calling from
I
is
don't
the
know
best
my
one to
telephone
contact
number.
you?
I don't know my telephone number and I'm waiting to speak to somebody. I'm not waiting for somebody to phone me back. You are in breach of Article 8 of the Human Rights Act 1998 and I suggest that you get somebody to answer the phone to me right now. They managed a little while ago when I phoned them directly, so you can manage to put me through now, please.
Okay.
Otherwise, Hillary, I've just told you that the people that you are working for are in breach of Article 8 of the Human Rights Act 1998. Right now, I'm going to hold you personally liable for this, okay? Unless you can put me through to a supervisor. If you manage to get me through to a supervisor, that's going to alleviate you of being liable for this, okay? You are personally, civilly liable. Right now, I'm holding you liable.
Okay, we aren't trying to force anybody to have the vaccine. We're just helping people arrange them.
I thought you wasn't working for that department.
So we work for public health and we're just making calls for those people that haven't received an invitation. If they want to get them, then
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You're phoning people up. You're asking them if they've had the vaccine. You are asking them about their personal, private information, Hillary. I'm going to ask you exactly the same things that I asked your colleague before she hung up on me. And let's see how you like these questions. Are you sexually active? Do you use contraception?
Okay.
Right, now, is that personal information to you? Am I allowed to know that information or not? I don't want to. I'm using this as an example. If I'm not allowed to know that information about you, you're not allowed to know any information about us. If we're general public, we're not allowed to know whether or not the MPs, the people that we put in Parliament, we're not allowed to know their vaccination status because it is protected under Article 8 of the Human Rights Act 1998. And that has been notified in a Freedom of Information request. So if the people that we employ are protected under that, then we, their employers, are also protected under that.
Okay, let me see if my supervisor will take the call.
Well, somebody needs to, because right now I'm holding you personally liable.
Okay.
So that means if I go and get the vaccine and something bad happens today, I'm holding you, Hillary, personally liable.
is not going to be able to take the call, and I do apologise.
Okay,
I am going to
so
terminate
what is her,
this
what is
call
her
now.
name? What is her name?
I am going to have to terminate
What
the
is
call.
your supervisor's name? What is your supervisor's name? Oh, you fucking joke. What a joke. There you have it, folks. They don't give a shit.
Probably gonna burn for this. Ain't no lesson to learn from this. There's nothing I'ma earn, but it sure